Okay, so this is a tutorial on vocals, and so we're going to do some of the basic processing and cleanup that you can do with the vocals. So I'm going to show you a few techniques. Okay, so first off, in your folder for exercises and practices, there's one called Avalon All I Know, and I've already highlighted all of the vocal tracks for this. There are some others as well, but I'm just going to pull including speech and Vox 1 to Vox 5 over here, and so we'll pull them all in. Sorry, that was hiding. Okay, and once all of those vocals are in place, then we can begin to do some processing. And this Vox 1 is going to be the main vocal.
I need a new promise.
So I don't know if that was obvious or not, but you can hear that it needs to be cleaned up a bit. Right there, you can hear some bleed. The rest of the band's going through the microphone.
I need a new.
So what you want to do is start cleaning up all the starts and stops, and you don't want to have any of that kind of noise in between.
I need.
You know, and there are some breaths as well, and I'm going to show you a little technique of how to, take the breaths out in case you want to auto-tune or something of that kind of processing. Well, the auto-tune has trouble with breaths, and so it's probably better to take the breaths out, but I don't want to take the breaths out completely because I think it begins to sound a little bit unnatural not to have breaths at all. And so I'm going to go ahead and highlight and bring in a new track. The new track is going to be an audio track, and you can create it. I actually already have a track up here that I'm just going to pull down right there. Oh, one more up. And I'm just going to title that track Breaths. And so basically what I'm going to do is take any breaths that I have that I want to keep, and I'm going to pull them down into the breath track. Okay, so let's start to clean these up, and I'm going to pull that a little bit closer. So you can kind of hear the noise there, and I'm going to bring it up real close.
I need a.
And I'm going to bring it a lot closer. And we don't want this to sound unnatural.
I need a new promise, brand new.
Okay.
I need a new promise, brand.
Okay, so you can hear that breath right there. Let's see where it starts exactly.
Brand.
So this little tail is part of the S, which is the last part of promise, I think.
New promise.
The S stops right about there. And what I'm going to do is use this tool right here, and that one is called the marquee tool. It's chosen, and it's my right click tool, or they call it the Apple tool or the command tool. So I use command, and when I push command, then I get this marquee plus sign, and I'm going to start it right. I'm going to start it right at my cursor, and I'm going to pull it to here, just like that. And the breath, I'm just going to bring it down to here. There we go. And then it probably will sound natural. So if I solo both of those,
I need a new promise, brand new.
and then without the breath, see if that sounds normal.
New promise, brand new.
Yeah, and it does start to sound a little bit
New
weird.
promise, brand new.
But I guess the point is, like if we want to do some more sophisticated processing like the auto tune, the breaths are going to be a problem. Okay, and so that's one way that we can go about taking those out.
New hope, one.
Okay, here's another one. And I'm just going to take it and I'm going to pull it straight down. There we go.
One good reason that's solid, not smoke. A valid
Yeah, there's a big one. Let's see where I want to start.
smoke.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it helps to make, this bigger and you can kind of see, the wide.
Smoke.
You can see a little bit closer of where you want to start and stop. But I usually get it pretty close. This is also called non-destructive editing because I'm not changing the sound forever. And this is one weird thing that's worth looking at. Well, actually, that breath is still there, right? You can pull it back. It's non-destructive. And so if you want to bring it back, you can. And hear what it sounds like.
Smoke. A valid
So I want to make sure the starts and stops of the sound are still there.
idea.
And there's another one. So you just go through and you find all the breaths and just pull them down. And because it's non-destructive editing, you're not as worried about making a little mistake. You want to be precise, but
More exuberant than dream.
that so I don't want that. I don't want that in there, especially in case I want to do some editing later. Now, and if I solo both of those tracks, it sounds just normal.
Than dream. Tangible connection with a sentient being.
Another thing too is if the breaths are just simply too loud, then that's one way you can very easily keep the breaths to make it sound natural, but turn them down to taste. Turn them up or down to taste. And now that's a big breath right there. And
but lies have modified me.
Okay, so basically we're going to do that for all of them. Just pull them down, just like that. And you're going to want to go through and do that for the entire clip.
To points I've never seen. I'm looking for.
And so you go through and listen to the breaths. You might not want to use all of the breaths. Like listen to this one.
Difference.
So can you hear? Whoops. Can you hear that in between? There's a lot of bleed noise. So I don't think I'm even going to want any of that one. I'm not going to pull that breath down because it just seems like it's a bit too much extra noise. So I'm going to cozy it right up there, and I'm just going to delete that one. Okay.
Difference.
If I have something unnatural going on, like I've cut off the very end of that note.
Difference.
That's kind of a weird ending anyway. But if I've cut off any of it, then I can, pull it back out.
Difference. And I don't think the things that I know now will.
Okay. So for this lead vocal, just go ahead and clean up all of those breaths, and that's how you start, just cleaning up the breaths and taking out any of the extra noise that's in there as well, and that's it. So hopefully, you know, we can go through and do that. Now you want to take the breaths out for, you know, and all of the extra noises you delete. You want to do that for all of these tracks, not just the main track. And then for the background vocals, we're going to want to probably eliminate all of the breaths, because I don't think the breaths are going to be necessary. I think it's just the lead vocal, and that's my opinion. So people might have a little different opinion. But I just noticed that there's long sections of the main vocals and the backup vocals that have background bleed, where you can hear the instruments must have been going through the main microphone, and so there's quite a bit of that kind of cleanup to do. Now we're a bit more aggressive when we go to a background vocal. So let's take a look at this one, and it looks like there's nothing until very close. But as we get close, let's turn those off. Yeah, there's quite a bit of extra noise there that is really unnecessary. Okay, so let's do this. And I'm just going to snug that right up. And then sometimes to make it sound a little bit more natural, sometimes it's nice to use what's called the fade tool. So I'm going to go down to this and just choose fade tool instead of the pointer there. And now I'm going to bring a fade tool in, and I'm going to just start it right there, and I'm going to bend this a little bit like that. You know, it looks like this if you pull it out a little further. But I'm going to put it right there. Let's make that a little bigger so we can kind of see if I'm cutting into the transient or beginning of the sound a little bit. It might be. Let's listen to that, see what that sounds like. Yeah, quite natural. And so let's go through the process now of just completely cleaning up the background vocals. So really any of the spaces in between, we just want to eliminate those. And I'm going to do that with the marquee tool. Go. I'm pretty sure that I can just bring it real close. Let's listen to what that is. Just a lot of bleed. Okay. So the marquee tool is kind of nice, because once you have that blue highlighted with the marquee tool, then you hit spacebar, and it'll just start right at the very beginning of that clip. And I think I'm just going to get rid of that whole piece. And I still have the fade tool, and so let me go out a little bit bigger, and I'm just going to clean those edges up a little bit with the fade tool, just so that they sound a little bit more natural and there aren't any, you know, any extra clicks, or, you know, sometimes even when the track just suddenly turns on, there's a lot of background noise and things like that. And yeah, I'm just going to be very aggressive, and I'm going to get rid of all of those things in between, you know, and it's kind of up to you whether you need to do the fade or not. You can listen. It sounds weird. So let me pull that out with the pointer tool. Yeah, so I don't think there's anything we're going to be able to do for that. I think that's an editing mistake from the original. Like, they actually cut off the back end of that sound. Sounds weird, but it'll probably be okay when we do the background vocal, and a lot of times you can be more abrupt with the sounds, or if it sounds too abrupt, we can very easily add a nice reverb tail to make it sound a little bit more natural. Yeah, let's get rid of everything in between. Don't want it. And like I said, if I didn't start that correctly,
at the top
all right, where does that end up?
of
Okay, so this just starts the cleanup, and let's go ahead and clean up all of the vocals in that way and just get rid of all the spaces in between. So there you go. This is the beginning of cleaning up the vocals. So let's go ahead and do a good job of cleaning them up, scrubbing all of them from any extra noises and things like that. And away you go.